Based on the movie about the legend of the Mothman, the TMS investigative team goes where no other Oklahoma scientists have gone before.
Cooling out, drink green tea.
The investigation begins. As with all of our investigations, we're going to start the steps of the scientific method. We're going to ask a question, do background research, construct a hypothesis, test our hypothesis with an experiment, analyze our data and draw a conclusion, and then communicate our results. We know that some plants have established a specialized relationship with a certain pollinator. Our question is, what type of flower will you most often find the order of Lepidoptera? Background
Ben with Scatmandu. We were told he was the foremost authority on Lepidoptera in this area. Scatman, what can you tell us about Lepidoptera?
Well, Lepidoptera is a very interesting insect. As you know, when you're dealing with Lepidoptera, you're dealing with two major types of insects, butterflies and moths. Butterflies have balls at the end of their antennae. And moths, their antennae is kind of feathery.
So according to our expert, how do you tell the difference between a butterfly and a moth? It's the antenna.
Now, as far as their role in nature, they're really play a part of the ecosystem where they help certain plants pollinate. Your butterflies pretty much rather prefer reddish, bright colored plants. Scent very faint. The type of flowers are tubular, and they have a type of a landing pad on the petals. They love the nectar. They love the nectar. And again, flowers depend on them to help them to pollinate. As far as your moths are concerned, they primarily like white flowers because they're going to come out at night most of the time. Not all of the time, but most of the time. So the flowers don't have to be very bright. So they're primarily going to be white with a very strong scent. But again, the shape of the plant themselves is tubular, and those flowers are also going to have a landing pad. And again, they do like the nectar.
So according to our expert, all butterflies have small rounded clubs at the end of their antenna, while moths' antennae are feathery and thin. Here's a chart that summarizes our research.
Mr. Dew, have you ever heard of the Mothman prophecies?
Mothman?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I did hear some stories. Where did you hear about the Mothman at?
Oh, it's all over the internet. And they've even made a movie. He's a goofy looking thing.
Goofy?
Yes.
Well, now that you brought that up, there is rumor about the Mothman. And he kind of likes these parts. But it's only rumor, mind you, about the existence of this human type of Lepidoptera. But the people who have claimed to have seen them, I believe they have been on some hallucinogens because I personally, I can't really trust their testimony. But be careful as you walk, especially around bridges. When they've seen him on bridges. So.
Hypothesis.
If Mothman is in the order of Lepidoptera, then he will prefer plants with nectar, specifically the Mexican hat. Data collection we used for our experiment, but you could try at home or at school. 1. Visit a garden or natural area and identify 5 flowers to observe. Write the names down. 2. Record the characteristics of each flower on the data sheet. 3. Use the information from the chart and make a hypothesis as to which pollinators, butterfly or moth, might visit the 5 different flowers. 4. Quietly, so you do not disturb the pollinators, record your data for 15 minutes, observing each plant. Our experiment took place in southwest and southeast Oklahoma with the lead plant, Mexican hat, prickly pear, daisy fleabane, wine cup, and bluet.
The lead plant. The bluet, which isn't really blue. The wine cup. The Mexican hat. The prickly pear. The daisy fleabane.
As we analyze our results, as you can tell on the chart, our hypothesis was actually incorrect. The bluet was the one the Lepidoptera seemed to prefer. As for the Mothman from our Lepidoptera expert.
Oh, so you've heard about the Mothman then?
Yeah.
Mothman would have the feathery antenna. As I explained to you earlier, butterflies have the rounded things on the end. But the Mothman has actually, if there was a Mothman, he would have very pretty feathery antenna.
Thank you, Scatman.
You're very welcome.